Irvingman! Someone has been raiding houses in one of the richest neighborhoods of Metropolis, and the police are baffled. Inspector Henderson doesn't like the fact that the Planet is reporting how baffled they are, so he's brought Perry, Clark, Lois, and Jimmy out to see how hard his department is working to catch this guy.
The Phantom burglars' operations have been perfect. No forced windows, no jimmied entries, and his timing has been precise.
So he has all the men he can get posted at every intersection, patrolling every block. You name it, he's got it going out there.
Tonight, I've got every available squad car on patrol. If the Phantom shows, we should get him.
Let's go out on our own, Miss Lane. This is our chance to grab ourselves a real scoop.
Jimmy, the chief will fire us if we do anything like that.
Not if we're the ones that spot the Phantom, he won't. The chief or Mr. Kent will grab the story if it breaks here. Gee, we could have the scoop of the year.
Well...
Come on.
And now he has two more helpers. I'm sure he'll be all excited about that.
How you think this would sound? Last night, ace reporters James Olson and Lois Lane Lois Lane and James Olson captured the notorious Phantom burglar as he emerged from the scene of his latest robbery.
And sure enough, Lois spots the burglar and Jimmy goes after him. It's been a while since Jimmy had a lump on his head. He's about due. The burglar runs to a getaway car and the driver speeds away. Jimmy jumps in his car and he and Lois are on the hunt.
Let's go.
Who's hunting who? Let's talk about stupid criminals. He knows the police are all over the place trying to catch him, so instead of having his driver try to lose them, he fires a gun and wakes the whole neighborhood up. To say nothing of the fact that he missed. They keep chasing and he keeps shooting. And missing.
Pull up, Chief.
Did my screen freeze? What's going on here?
Chief, it's Jim and Lois. They're being fired on. I recognize the car.
No, they both just know how to sit really still for a really long time. I guess Clark was supposed to be using his zoom vision or something. As I mentioned before, this Superman seems to have universal vision, a power that does whatever he needs it to do at the time. We'll see a lot more of that as the season progresses.
Chief, this could be quite a scoop. How about letting me get out and phone, huh?
Don't worry, Kent. The bullets won't reach this far.
No, Chief, it's just our job. Now, if Lois and Jimmy have really flushed the Phantom, why, it's a real scoop.
Okay. You won't be much help down there anyhow, but go ahead.
Perry always knew Clark was just phoning it in most of the time anyway. Lois wanted to run back and tell the police, but no. Jimmy had to be the big hero and go after him. And now her hair is all messed up. Or his hair is all messed up. Somebody's hair is all messed up, and it's not Superman's. Oh yeah, and then there's the blood pressure thing. Plus a shot-out tire that Jimmy gets to change. But the Phantom did drop something when Jimmy tackled him.
What is it? Well, it's a top, all right. Your tip. I'm afraid this is beyond me, too. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't there a nightclub in town called the Tip Top?
Of course. When you get your bill, you spin the top to see how much you'll tip your waiter.
So if you spin it right, you come out a tip-top tipper. Perry tells Lois to collect Kent at the office and go check out that club. Jimmy's in detention for a while. Mr. Suspicious there will check the car's registration for that couple's address. He'll say later that he found it in the glove compartment, which he did, but he might not have needed to. I don't know the precise dates, but somewhere around the 50s or early 60s, at least in some states, you had to keep the registration in a special holder on the steering column. The idea was that if a cop pulled you over, he could just glance at the registration there in front of him and get your information. What somebody forgot was criminals could do the same thing even when you weren't in the car because those things were easily readable through the window. Needless to say, we quit doing that fairly quickly. Inside, the show is in progress. A young lady is holding up objects that she gets from audience members, and the blindfolded swami identifies them. Lois wants to know how he does it.
The swami must not hear us. Something from your pocket, please.
All right, we'll make this a tough one. Try this paper clip.
What am I holding now, swami?
A paper clip.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who keeps a paper clip or two in his pocket just in case. And now Clark knows how the swami is doing it. Next, we'll see how his operation is doing the rest of it.
I'll take the house key. What am I holding now, swami?
I think a house key.
That's the couple from that expensive car. The young lady has a lump of wax in that handkerchief she's holding, and now she has an impression of the key. Her accomplices will use it to make a key and let themselves into the house since they know for sure that the people aren't home. Next day, Lois has put it together. Everybody who's been burgled had the swami identify their house keys. There's just one problem.
But
Chief, mate.
please, Chief, Miss Lane and me, we were just
No,
trying
Jimmy, we did the wrong thing. We've got to listen to Mr. White's advice.
But you just told me that...
We did interfere, Jim. We're sorry, Chief.
All right. And from now on, lay off that phantom burglar story.
Perry doesn't want them anywhere near the story. Hence, Lois isn't going to tell him what she learned.
The swami and the girl are merely cover-ups. They get the keys, that's all. The police want the important link in the operation, the Phantom, and we've got to unmask him.
I'm surprised a professional reporter like her would get the whole thing backwards. The Phantom is just a muscle. He does the grunt work. To stop an operation like this, you go after the brains, which means the swami and the girl. In any case, she has a plan.
Well, welcome to our city, Senor Alvarez.
Who? Me?
I'll admit it's not too good a job, but at least it gives me enough of an idea to know it'll work.
And it looks so real you could just reach out and wipe it off.
Don Alvarez Ortega, son of the celebrated Argentinian millionaire, arrived in Metropolis today with a huge collection of emeralds that he is offering for sale. Don Alvarez, who is staying at the West Standish Hotel, will make a tour of the nightclubs of the city.
Jimmy's doing a good job of looking the part.
This mustache tickles.
The tickles laugh.
She drew it on with an eyebrow pencil. How can it tickle?
Ah, Don Alvarez, muy bienvenida a nuestra bella ciudad. Es un gran honor de recibir su visita.
See?
You simply must help us, Senorita. Don Alvarez insists on approving his vocabulary. He begs we speak nothing but English.
Especially since he pretty well quit listening after Don Alvarez.
Now, what is in your pocket, senor? This hotel key will do? Perfectly.
And she took the bait. Now call Inspector Henderson and have him place his cops in the room so they can catch the Phantom in the act.
This is Clark Kent speaking. Well, of course, Mr. Grover, I remember you. Yes, your home was the second one to be robbed by the Phantom, right? Mm-hmm. Miss Lane asked you to do what? Oh, they did identify your key at the Tip Top Club. And the same night that you were robbed? Uh-huh. Well, I'll tell Miss Lane. Thank you, Mr. Grover.
Clark just found out about Lois and Jimmy's South American millionaire scheme, and now he knows why they're doing it. He also knows they're probably going to get themselves into trouble.
Nice work, Laura. Monk is on his way to the kids' hotel.
He'll need time. I'll go out and keep the chump here till Monk finishes the job. This wax sure ruins these expensive hankies.
And you'd have all kinds of fun explaining it to a dry cleaner, but she has a problem. Lois and Don Alvarez already left. They're not going to call Henderson, are they?
Here.
A gun? What's that for?
The Phantom. When he shows, you hold the gun on him while I call the police.
Call the police now and let them handle this. Jimmy's more likely to accidentally shoot you or himself than he's likely to intimidate the Phantom with that thing. Meanwhile, Clark has tracked them to the club. The swami and the girl have left to try and stop the Phantom from making a big mistake, so he's free to search the green room. He figures out the scam and knows where to go next. Our phantom, Monk by name, just got there.
Okay, bud, drop that gun and reach. We got him! We got the phantom, Miss Lane! Okay, get down there. Face the wall and keep your hands up. Miss Lane, you phone the police.
Sure, Jimmy.
I wouldn't, young lady.
I told them to let the police handle it. Monk has decided the best thing to do with them is throw them out the window so it looks like a suicide pact.
Shoot, Laura!
They always try that. Now, watch this. They were sitting on the floor. They were in a position of complete surrender. They weren't resisting him. Let's talk about police brutality, shall we? Is Superman supposed to be a hero because he brutally assaulted two men who had surrendered? As I write this, there are demonstrations happening all over the country, indeed all over the world, because the police in this nation are out of control. They are going around doing things like this. Once Henderson is done arresting and processing those guys, he needs to arrest Superman for assault and battery because there was no reason to do that except sheer meanness. And when you see a cop on video shooting rubber bullets at people who are on their knees with their hands up, or grab a member of the press who is on his knees holding up his press pass and throw him on his face and kick him, that's nothing but sheer meanness. It has no place in any form of policing, whether it's the Minneapolis police, the Seattle police, or Superman, who's no police at all. The fact that the show made out as if this is okay infuriates me. I'm sure it's supposed to be funny, but imagine being a black man in 1953 and watching this. Your first thought is going to be something like, white cops did that to my cousin 3 days ago because he stood in one place too long. It's not funny. It's not justifiable. I don't care if it's 1953 or 2053. That scene was Superman committing a criminal act. It killed the whole episode for me. Turns out he was looking for Lois's gun, and he decided he had to knock them both unconscious to find it. Except he didn't. Hold them a foot off the floor and ask them where it is, wrap them up in a couple of pole lamps or electrical cords and search them, or just get real up in their faces and give them that Superman look and say, hand it over. There are so many ways we could have gone that didn't involve breaking bones or giving concussions. Think how much funnier this would be if the bad guys were awake to see it too.
Here, I don't want this, Miss Lane.
Oh, stop worrying about it. It isn't loaded.
Oh? Oh, well, that's all right then. It isn't what?
It isn't loaded. Do you think I wanted somebody to get hurt?
Oh.
Well, I didn't think it was loaded.
Picture the bad guy's reaction when she says it isn't loaded, and then their reaction when it goes off. Even better, everybody's shocked when they realize it shot Jimmy's mustache off. Thanks for watching, kids. And remember, clicking that like button is cool. Subscribing is even cooler. Leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know. And becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.